right. So, hi, everybody. We're here with some of the Fresh Force heroes. Our first segment is Power on a Plate. And today we have Dr. Claudia, who I'll give a second to introduce herself, and Doc Heather. And we're all here just in support of real food, real power for the state of Maryland.
Right. I'm Dr. Claudia B. Walter. I am the Chief Operating Officer and founder of the Faith-Based Collaborative Outreach Group. We're fondly known as the Collaborative in the state of Maryland and the DMV area. And so our program's mission is this: we go in and we structure humanitarian hubs based upon the underlying social needs and centered around food insecurity and also providing humanitarian resources and accessing the divide to services for those families and students. And so we love what we do. We've been in existence and doing this now for well over 30 years. We also work internationally with various partners to drop hubs and to structure programs to make sure we are getting the resources that persons need for daily quality of life and advancement and community revitalization and stabilization. So we love working with the Success Plate team and everyone. We're so glad to be here.
Greetings, everybody. I'm Doc Heather. I am a holistic primary care and wellness founder and chief wellness officer, and I work on setting a new standard of comprehensive wellness that actually encourage you to focus on lifestyle medicine, to encourage you to look at everything in your life, not just the physical component, but the mental and energetic and emotional component of your life. Look at all of that comprehensively to encourage you. And that also absolutely includes your nutrition, what you're putting into your body, including the supplements, including the fruits and vegetables that we're going to talk about, and everything that you consume. So, of course, I'm absolutely thankful, too, to be at the table and in this panel as well.
All right. And we're all happy to be here. Right. And my name is Brene. I'm the president of KAUSE Marketing PR. We work on all social impact projects, and this is one that's near and dear to my heart as well, just as I seek to live in a healthy way and just spread the knowledge and everything that I have. So our first question is a pretty fun question. We have the Fresh Force that supports our Real Food, Real Power initiative. And my first question is just, if you guys were a local food hero, what would your name and superpower be? And I think, Dr. Claudia, you kind of gave me an idea when you introduced yourself, just being more than 30 years in the community. It just reminded me that usually we see superheroes and they have like that one like mentor or guide that's been doing it a long time. Like X-Men have Professor X. That's kind of reminded me of. But yeah, what would your name and superpower?
That is a very interesting question. I'm sitting up here trying to think, and I love the X-Men. So I love Marvels. So that's interesting. I'm gonna let Doc Heather go first and come back to me because I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm gonna let Doc Heather go, and I'm gonna come back around to me. I'm gonna
I
think
got
about it.
I got a few. Okay, I'm ready. Okay, delicious delicacy. And I really believe, okay, my superpower will be just dynamically tasteful. So I guess my superpower would be making things taste wonderful. Just try a little bit of everything kind of thing. My superpower would be just make everything taste wonderful. So that would be my superpower.
All right.
I got it now. I thought about it. Provision. And
Okay.
so what my superpower would be as I fly across the world and I see, devastation or economical disparity, I would be able to stabilize things and provide provision.
Love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Actually, and I didn't even plan on answering this question, but when you guys were talking, I'm like, you know what? I think my name would be like Heal Real, because
I like it.
like real, like with they video reels, because I do storytelling, but also like healing, because that's actually one thing I like, study supplements and vitamins and things like that. So just my superpower would probably to bring healing.
All right. Love that.
Great.
That's funny. So we're focused on communities, farmers who bring so much to the community, not just food, but also of form of economic empowerment to the community and the families. They have access to healthier food options. And it's such a communal project that our mission here. So what does real food, real power mean to you guys?
For me, I think that real power before we get to the food would be having conversations, not just the provision and bridging for people to get it, but having conversations between the farmers and between the community and the leaders at the table. Because I think there's a divide that is there and the understanding of the need. It's sometimes looked at like we have division and a mindset of that, oh, you're here to take, you are not providing or adding anything to me. So I grow the food, but one of the things that that I've experienced and being at the table having different conversations is the mindsets. There's strife that is there. There's a lot of division because there's misunderstanding of what the need is and what the core, how the need started. So one of the things you heard me say when I introduced myself was about our programs focus in on first identifying the social need, because every community has a different underlying social need. There's a difference there. So you can't go in. One thing I've learned, a lot of times we come to the table thinking we have the answer. Well, first you need to have conversations so you can understand what the need is. And sometimes people are there, they know the need, but they just want to help meet the need. And then others do need, but they come to the other side of the table eventually to serve their community and make it better. And that's where community revitalization and stabilization comes, having conversations, and it changes that dynamic. Then everybody at the table and further along, those who are dealing with economic disparities, is not just not having food or having money or things of that nature. Especially in this climate right now, and I'll end with this. We have a lot of people who have had not a a medium income at a very high income, well over 150,000, 200,000, but they've lost their jobs. So now they too are their households and their mindsets and their, inward thinking and their finances, their children, it's been touched. Everything has been touched. And now they're at these tables because they have a need too, not just food, but many times they find themselves getting SNAP. They find themselves at the food pantry. So there was a divide that was there because it wasn't touching them. And now they understand that, wow, people don't deserve to be here. They didn't do anything wrong to
Mm.
be here and have this need.
Wow. So we're talking about that's good, Dr. Claudia. Real food, real power. And I go back to the root of things. I mean, farmers are investing in their communities, right? They believe in where they're planting, they believe in where they're harvesting, right? They believe in that soil, they believe in that community. And hopefully, they're actually employing people in that area. They're employing people in that community, which is a powerful thing. So it's kind of like a circle of life, which I really truly believe in. And like I said, I believe in the comprehensive kind of type wellness, which means we're not just looking at a physical component. And I know you probably can't see it because my top here is light, but I consider myself Doc Heather because it's a community thing. I'm like the neighborhood doc. So it's just like the neighborhood farmer bringing in neighborhood folks. They develop a type of a culture, right? There is
Mhm.
people who know that farmer. Oh, I know Farmer John. I know Farmer Betty. They know what they bring. They know what they're harvesting that year. They know because they're telling everybody, "Oh, this is what's in season right now. This is what's harvesting right now." I love that for them. And I want them to be able to have that type of community, that type of environment, real food, okay? And they know and they can tell that family member, they can tell that family participant, that neighborhood, that neighbor specifically, well, you're looking for this. So and so needs this type of nutrient. Oh, I got you. I know when that's coming into season. I'm going to let you know when it's ready. That's the type of thing that I think that this kind of project, this kind of focus has had. That's what it means to me when I hear it. Real food, real power, because it's like a whole setup. It's a whole circle of life. We're standing up, we're talking to each other, we're telling each other. Like you said, we're communicating, we're educating each other, we're empowering each other, we're setting each other up for success. There is a way of not only financially empowering each other because, like I said, if that farmer can empower and employ, but also nutritionally and educate that person on this food does this, this food helps you with that, this nutrient, because they know what it's doing. They're not just growing to be growing. They know what this food is doing and they know how to nurture it to grow. Just like I work with the humans and I know what it takes to help the humans and I know kind of the things that hurt the humans. Or just those who focus on animals, the veterinarians, they know what hurts the animals, right? So those people who work with them, they know. So I love the community based, the roots of this. And I love the fact that we can focus and the community knows. So the community hopefully will look out for each other. They're going to look out for that farmer when the weather gets bad or, let's say they have a bad storm that comes through. They hopefully look out for that farmer and say, "Hey, Farmer John, hey, Farmer Betty, did you get hit hard with that wind or did the storm come through? Can we help you out? Can we lift up some trees? Can we do these things?" I hope that that's a goal because they want to make sure that things are successful for them too, because ultimately it's going to circle back around. They're going to say, "Hey, I wanted that, collard green that came back around this season. I'm looking for you to
Mhm.
come in with that cabbage because it was so good and the family enjoyed it when we came through with the holiday season. So we want to make sure that the herb was ready. I'm looking for my, my special basil when it comes back around." So, like I said, circle of life, lots of community based, lots of education, lots of just sitting around the table and talking to each other and really investing in each other.
And if I may, bring Brene, one of the things that I saw as she was talking and heard was the fact of food heals. It doesn't just heal from within, just eating it and ingesting it, but community around it when we support each other and have conversations or we're learning about, because a lot of food heals our bodies. And so those farmers growing us different things. It also builds relationships. Heals is not just for preventive disease or whatever else, but you're building community relationships. So really food heals a community when we connect with one another. It brings us together. I always believe that when we break bread together at tables, miracles happen. It's the same thing in our communities as we're bridging the access not just to the food, but also to build relationships.
Right. And I'm so glad that you guys mentioned that. And just on a community, I think on a community level, macro and micro level, just food usually we it brings people together. And like mentioned, a lot of us have like personal connections and memories and to food and specific items or certain dishes. So how do you guys see local foods influencing not just physical but mental and emotional well-being?
Oh, I could do
Uh,
that. I was gonna say that warm chicken soup. Right now, I could use some, and then you put that little special. Now, I might be a little unique on this because my herb is the cilantro. So I'm like, look, give me a little cilantro, break it off
Mhm.
in there. But and I think that might be a cultural thing too, right? There's some cultural uniqueness to it. To just put a little bit of this. This is what makes my chicken noodle soup a little bit different than, Dr. Claudia's or maybe yours, Brene. But I think that's just it's just those nice little things that we do, and in this time, like Dr. Claudia mentioned, and in this moment of time, we need that kind of comfort, emotional food, right? We're going through heartaches right now. We're getting uncertainties, these letdowns. We're not sure. I mean, so many of us, especially in the particular areas right now that we're in, may not know where our next good meal is coming from. We may not know where our next solid meal is coming from. So just to think back on, wow, when Nana used to make this, or when Pop used to do this, or if we have that kind of family unity, just something that remind us of a kind time, that remind us of a unit, of a cohesive moment, of a smile moment, of a warm moment, right? My goodness, it's cool outside right now. It's fall, okay? And I'm feeling it, okay? I'm feeling the fall. And if I can just bring in a moment that just brings me something that brings me comfort and warmth, whatever that food product is, and if I can just go to that person and say, "Hey, give me a little bit of that." And if I can get that smell, just even that smell, can sometimes just warm my heart. So
Mhm.
absolutely it's gonna bring me an emotional response. Might even bring me to a tear, but that's okay because it brings that relationship. Oh my goodness, that farmer, that person who provides that uniqueness, provides that smell, provides that just a little sample, like, oh, I got a little something for you. It's not in season yet, or it might not be just ready yet, but if they can provide that to me, just that knowledge, that information, or that ability warms my heart. Wow, wow.
And I think we're in a place now of where our nation, as you said, Doc Heather, needs comfort. We're in a place where we need comfort. So it reminds me of the message yesterday of kindness and goodness. So right now, as we're sitting around, food heals people. I want to go back to that. So as we're in our household breaking bread with our family or having a memory or around a pot of stew or something like that, let's think about our neighbor because we don't know what they've gone through, or maybe we've even heard of it. How about knocking on the door and going to connect with them? How about maybe if you made the stew from the farmers, what you got, take it back to them the next time and say, you know what, I used your fresh vegetables, or I made a fruit pie. I'm a pie person and I love making sweet potato pies. That's my thing. And the family's like, oh, no, you cannot share the recipe. My nieces have told me don't share the recipes because I'm going to do a recipe book sometime in my life. And I wanted to release all these great recipes, not only that I've developed, but that I remember from childhood that my grandmother did, that my mother did. And I
Mhm.
remember going to the farmer's market on Saturdays with my grandmother. And I remember getting a warm gingerbread cookie and the slice of cheddar cheese with it, and seeing all the different meats and produce and how beautiful they were. And they would have apples sliced up, and you could taste the different produce or fruits that were available. And so I'm hoping that as we continue with Fresh Forest and Success Place, as we do this project and we continue to build upon it, we will be able to recreate some of those memories, not only that we've had, but we'll be able to share them with the children that are growing. They'll learn about connecting with fresh foods, seed to table, what that really means as we connect with other nutritionists and specialists and learning. And then also as we cook together, sometimes as communities, it will be great to cook a meal together of what we have harvested as we go out and creating that. And like I want to piggyback on one more thing, was taking that and letting the farmer taste something that we created from their hard work. I think that bridges, and then also connecting, telling our neighbors about, I went to a farm and there's a farm down here that was a produce stand. And listen, taste this. I made it from this cherry pie or this sweet potato pie from their sweet potatoes, and they're better than some of the ones that I've gotten, which are massively grown in places.
That's right. And you guys got me over here even thinking and just reminiscing. I remember growing up, I grew up in around Clinton, Maryland, which is most people know about Miller's Farms, but they might not know about Cherry Hill Farm. They used to be like down the
Mm,
street. And our mother used to take us every year when we picked strawberries when they were it was
Mm.
strawberry season. We picked apples, peaches, whatever they had. But also I remember Cherry Hill Farm used to have a market connected to just literally like in the middle of one of their fields. And they would bake bread, donuts, ice cream, everything with the produce that they grew. And it tasted better than anything. But
yes,
also I just know that it planted seeds for me and my brothers, just a connection to the land, and also the taste that it was better. Like, oh, okay, this is better, because there are some misconceptions about, especially in the area we live in, close to the city. It can be like, oh, you're in the country. It's like have a bad connotation sometimes, but it did plant seeds, in that way of being able to take something that grew from the ground, make something with it in that way. And I know, like, as an adult, I actually started travel. Every time I traveled to a different country, I'll start taking a cooking class and kind of immersing myself in their culture and their dishes that were specific to them. So I just me seeing that now, it definitely plays a part. So yeah. I do want to, just off of that, talking about misconceptions that we can sometimes have in the community. What myths about healthy eating have you guys encountered, and how do you think we can address those or break those myths?
I think for me, what I've encountered is what some cultures, like with us Americans, what we believe is healthy. Because my family is very diverse, I have a daughter-in-law from Ghana, and I know others from different parts of Africa and just different places. And I'm kind of like you, I'm more international. So when I go places or travel places, I want to eat what they eat, and I want to see and understand, why do you eat this? So I think medicinally, the breakdown for me has been, with the misconceptions, are that we don't eat certain things, like with yucca. It's a good starch, or cassava root. It's something good. It is starchy, but it has medicinal purposes. I was just talking with my daughter-in-law, and she was telling me about these berries, and I'm trying to remember the name of them, but they are green, and they're from Ghana, where they help not only with digestion, but with blood pressure and different things, as they eat them in the season as they come, and they use them in stews. And I noticed that they eat a lot of stew, and different cultures. We were talking about that. So here, our misconception a lot of times is, okay, if we eat iceberg lettuce, it's healthy. Well, it's not. It's full of water. And so what I found, even for myself, I used to think, iceberg lettuce is fine, of different things, but there's an array of different vegetables and greens. And also, when we go to the international grocery stores, utilizing different herbs like cilantro that Dr. Heather mentioned, it has medicinal purposes, and it tastes very good. It kind of gives things a little pop. And so, I've learned to be more diverse. And I've learned, even in our family, because we can get stuck sometimes growing up with just the foods that we eat, instead of experimenting and trying other different types of food and incorporating it now within our dietary needs.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
I think you tapped on it. It's that healthy is flavorless, it's nasty, yuck, and that is expensive, right? And I
Mhm.
think that the biggest thing about the flavorless is that you get to season it, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be salt seasoned.
Mhm.
There are the salt substitutes, there's other things, there's the herbs, there's different things that you can season with that we can sample. And that's what you just said: sample, experiment, try different cultural recipes in just
Mhm.
small amounts. And then the as far as it being expensive, and this comes to the kind of the fresh food part. I get it. Freshness, we don't put the preservatives in it that will keep it on the shelf as long as it does, or keep it in the grocery store. It allows it to travel from the Midwest or travel from overseas, those type of things. So you're right, it's fresh, so it does maybe expire, but there's some ways around it. So for instance, if you get a herb from the grocery store, or herb from the farmer's market, the goal would be to take it out of the wrapping, take it out of the plastic, put it into a little bit of water, and then put it into your refrigerator. And we could talk about those type of things, looking up those type of things. But so you it will last a little bit longer, instead of it shriveling up and going bad or turning bad. That's the way to kind of make it last, and reduce the expense, and also using it faster, right? So we want to
Mhm.
try to cook it faster. So it's not just we buy it and then just leave it in there. No, we want to try to utilize it immediately, so that we're not wasting, that we just purchased this item and then we have to throw it away because we let it go. Like my mushrooms. Well, mushrooms kind of turn already. They're already like fungus, so they kind of, and people are like, "Oh, but that's okay because that's how they are. It's okay. They can turn a little bit and you can still cook them and use them." So
Mhm.
I think that those are two top um kind of myths, sass kind of issues that I hear, that it's flavorless or it's nasty, and or that it's very expensive to eat healthy. And I think that we can find ways in today's society to work around that and choose our health, choose our wellness over that. Okay. Yeah.
I love that. Choose our health. And it's so funny you mentioned the tasteless, because I know, well, my closer friends know that they consider me health conscious, and I am to a certain degree, but they also know when they come over my house, or if I'm having dinner or anything, that they're going to try something new. And at this point, they know, they feel comfortable enough to ask me what's in it now, and I'll tell them. But it used to be, I let them eat it and say, "Oh, this is good and this is good." And I'm
Yes.
like, but it's squash in those brownies, and it's it's purple potatoes in the ice cream. It's like, yeah, so I definitely see that, but that just speaks to the change that's possible
Hmm.
when people do have those misconceptions that they can be worked through and worked out of to a better space. So I know now like, they're happy to try anything that I cook now, um, and they know it's healthy. What's one change you make to our food system to make it more equitable and community centered?
I believe the change that we make is collaboratively partnering with others to, I'm going to use this word again, bridge the access divide and making sure that it's equitable, whether we go into different communities. That's one thing that we do. We'll do a feasibility study and we have conversations of how we can aid others who may not drive, even to the point of planning out programs with certain times so they can access it because parents work. Some have more than one job, but yet they are called they can be categorized as the working poor because a lot of times they're using their income to meet other needs. Food costs have gone up. And so therefore, they can access food, shelf-stable items, non-perishable items, meats and things of that nature, fresh produce, which a lot of times they go in the store and so they'll get canned goods because it is less, but it's less healthy because of the ingredients that are in it and because they're trying to make it shelf stable. So a lot of times parents opt for or people, even those with income that is they have a certain amount of income that they have, our seniors and things of that nature, so they're on a fixed income is the word I was looking for. So a lot of times they will opt, instead of buying fresh meats that are not frozen, they will buy those things which are less costly, but also in the long run it affects our health. And I love what Heather said, as you said, Brene, choose health. And so a lot of times when we're in a grocery store, if our pocket does not allow us to do that, we're choosing something else that in the long term is going to harm us. So our thing is to make sure this is accessible, not only food, but also then if you can provide personal care items, household items, things of that nature, they can reallocate the money that they had left over in their
Mm,
budgets to go into the store to purchase certain things for their families. This way, when they're sitting down, hey, I can have a nice salad. I can get that salad that was $4 to $5 a bag or 3 for 5 in the store, that it has more nutritional value in it with the broccolini and the different pieces and the red cabbage, instead of choosing maybe the iceberg lettuce that is 99 cents, that it has no healthy value to it. And so therefore also doing food demos and talking about the produce that we provide, bringing out nutrition specialists to engage with our neighbors and our community and provide them with recipe cards to try things that they maybe never have tried before. We've experienced that in our journey where we've had neighbors come in and get the produce and they'll bypass it. And we'll ask them questions. Why are you bypassing? Well, our family doesn't eat that. What is that? We don't even know what that is. We've had a high number of Latino descent where they're not used to the orange sweet potatoes. They don't normally use it. But when we talked to them about using it or gave them a taste or had conversations with them that we use it this way, we put it with our yellow and gold potatoes with some onions, and you can stir fry that up and, caramelize it or put it in the oven. And this tastes real good. And they tried it and come back and told us that this was really good. And now they want it. Now they're asking for it. So that's one way we try to connect our community with food and other resources to aid them in really pivoting, having able to allocate their money or their resources in a different way, and then connecting them with other resources that they may not have known that was available in the community.
I love the fact of what Dr. Claudia said is I'm in a situation where I have transitioned from a large family dynamic where I used to cook for a large number and I have to shift that energy. I have to kind of remind myself I'm not cooking for a large group anymore. But if I do, to share that with a neighbor, to share that with an elderly person, especially with the elderly person who's not able to or may not, oh wow, what is this? They would have never known. I think that's another way to give access to stuff and to make it equitable. So that would be my way. But definitely, I love the fact you asked the question. Now I get to give it more thought and figure that out.
equitability and accessibility brings dignity, because also with us and our programs, we give you choice. We don't just I don't like boxing things up, because I like choice. So we want to do the same things to others that we desire also. It brings dignity to us. It also brings, once again, community and relationship. Like you said, awareness. I love what Doc Heather said. Keep bringing that question up. How do we make it more equitable for others? How do we make it more accessible and connectivity to those things? So what she was saying was community. That's what I heard. Community is connectivity to somebody else's need. That brings us back to what I said earlier was compassion and kindness. Let us be kind to one another instead of us always looking inwardly. We silo into bubbles, and that question really hinges on us looking outside, sticking our heads outside of our own bubbles, and also going past our own need or giving out of our need many times.
I love both you guys' answers. It speaks to the different perspectives, approaches that all have to happen at the same time, and just the intentionality, like what you said, Dr. Heather, always being, if you keep that question in mind, then it might be something today that changes tomorrow, but you're always looking for an opportunity to make it more equitable and community centered. And even like you said, Dr. Claudia, partnerships, which speaks to your organization, on the collaborative and you guys' values. So in this how can other partnerships beyond farmers markets, and like health organizations, what other partnerships do you guys maybe see that can benefit from being involved in this project?
Think even more with businesses, number one, small businesses, corporations, being involved. Sometimes people don't know that, especially with larger corporation organizations, they have a budget aside to designate for community, but we don't know many times that how to go in, how to enter into those tables, to access what is available and set aside for the community, because if it's not utilized, then it allocates somewhere else, making them also responsible, because um, it is necessary. It is a necessary need to ensure that these things are absolutely holding them responsible, because it is a requirement many times, not only by state and local government. It's a requirement when an organization comes in or a business and sets up, depending upon their income level or what their product is or service they're providing. It's necessary. They're asked to include in their budget or required by the Secretary of State to put this stuff in so that it disseminates back to the community. They have to give so much funding. So like with dealerships and things like that, we don't think about partnering with those things, and they're ready. They want to be at these tables. They want us to invite them in. But sometimes even we had to reconfigure some things too as an organization of saying, no, we do need to invite them to the table. And also volunteerism. They want to volunteer many times. I know that I'm going to mention a couple of few that are very good at that I've seen and had experience with Lowe's and Home Depot. They want to come out and they want to give back to the communities. A lot of times you can partner with them or they partner with you, maybe to build a park or be involved in a bigger project where we can, access or increase our reach and things together. Financial literacy is another thing, teaching our community, how do you expand your income or utilize what's in your hand? Even if you're on a fixed income, how can I budget well so that I can meet the needs that I have? So it's a lot of things that can go on, but I do believe also going to the tables with your local governments and state governments. Those are necessary to have those conversations and see what they're doing in community and how you can partner with them and they can partner with you. So I wanted to piggyback on what you said about getting kids involved. Kids are excited. I've seen it in my journey with where kids will get their parents to volunteer or to come out
Yeah.
or inspire them and make them aware that something is available. And I love the fact of the cooking demos, how they like that. And even at one point we did with SNAP, Nutrition Education with the University of Maryland program, would come out and actually work with schools to teach the children from seed to table about doing STEM with them, some of the science pieces of the seed and growing and doing community gardens with them. So those are wonderful things that we can do to encourage a community of growing their own food and what that's like with sharing in and going out and everybody coming together to grow something. It's exciting when they see that happen. So like you said, partnering with organizations, partnering with schools, a lot of schools are welcoming the fact of community gardens and teaching the children and incorporating it within the actual science classes and even cooking classes to teach children now, how to cook, how to prepare healthy meals and healthy food. So that's something exciting to do and getting families involved and I think even with the farmers, connecting them with the fact of giving to the schools to support those cooking programs and things of that nature to teach the children. And I think it breaks down to the stigma when you do that, that people are just taking. They're taking what I've put in my hard work and they're just taking, they're not giving anything back. I once again believe it breaks down the miscommunication and the false deceptions that are there. Instead of answering the need, we can work on bringing a resolution to the need together. And I say that need because a lot of times there's a need to have understanding.
And the last question, what's one comfort food that's always brings you joy, and how would you put a healthy twist on it?
For me, it's miso soup or soup in general. And listen, I'm actually thinking about my miso soup right now. But miso is like I lived in Japan for a couple years, and that became soup in general is my comfort food. And I adopted the miso version of it. And I add more tofu. I add mushrooms to it because it's usually just the broth. So they have broth and they have seaweed in it, which is all good. Seaweed has its own benefits. And like I said, I cook up my own mushrooms and and so I'm thinking about I got some right now in the refrigerator that I'm excited to get back to. So, okay, that's mine.
I think for me, baking. I like baking. Well, actually, I just like cooking. Cooking is very therapeutic for me. Especially, I like cooking for others and seeing them enjoy it. And for me, it would be the sweet potato pie. I have to go back to that because it brings back memories of my grandmother being in the kitchen and she had this meal that you put the potatoes in and you would have to turn it, and she would make those sweet potatoes, really fluffy. It made the potatoes really fluffy. So for me, it is sweet potato pie. And I'm looking forward to start baking, which I'm having a gathering the first week of November. So I am cooking for everybody and inviting people in. And I'm excited to cook this time. And I was thinking about, oh, what am I going to cook? So I'm thinking about fixing some actual goat and some stew, doing some stew because I'm a stew girl. And so I like that stew in a nice pot of chili or something like that that makes you warm and cozy.
Y'all definitely are making me hungry. I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm like, I really like egusi soup. It's
Oh,
like a
yeah.
Nigerian, and I like tried making it a couple times, but I feel like it's already healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Melon seeds, oils, like some people use spinach leaves or bitter leaf. Like it's already healthy. So I guess that wouldn't even be a answer. But I mean, I don't think people look at it that way or think of it in that way. But I know something you said, well, Dr. Heather and you mentioned pie. I'm like, I'm a cobbler girl.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with this fall weather, definitely I feel like making like a cobbler right now, probably mixing some different berries or apples or something. And just for the crust, like I'll blend up some oatmeal, probably
Mm-hmm.
substitute the butter, some coconut oil or something, agave. But I do use like cinnamon and nutmeg and those things and I mean, as flavoring, but also for the health benefits. But yeah, I'll stick some extra nuts and almonds, walnuts, and anything else in the blender too, just to make the crust. But
Mm-hmm.
it's a healthier
Okay.
option.
Okay. Okay. I like what you said about the crust. You've just given me some ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have a food gathering.
Like
And
a bake
maybe
off
we
or
could
something.
do a
Yes.
video
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
forward This is just to mention, maybe we could do like a video with our cooking demonstration. We all come together
Mhm.
and cook, and then we can record it.
Yep.
I'll tell you, I put cinnamon in my coffee. Cinnamon
Mm,
has some blood sugar regulation benefits, right? And then
Mhm.
I use coconut oil to saute my mushrooms.
mm.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
use regular oil. I use coconut oil to saute my yeah.
And we definitely gotta bring it all together one day.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes, definitely.
I like to cook, I also like to eat.
Well, I like more of the eating than the cooking, but yeah, okay, all right.
I like to cook, and I'll eat, but I'm not eating as much as I used to, especially when I cook. I don't know what it is. It's a thing. I used to see my grandmother do the same thing,
Yeah.
where she would cook and then she would sit back and she would watch. Everybody say, "You gonna eat? I'm gonna eat. I'll eat." But a lot
Yeah.
of times, because we're tasting, I'm a taster as I go.
Mhm.
Many times, I find I cook a lot better as I taste as I go, and then because I've been tasting so much, I'm full.
Yeah. That's good.
Right. Well, I'm glad we got a chance to sit down and talk about some of the very important topics. I don't like to say issues, but some of the issues that surround um healthy food access in the community and in the state of Maryland.
Yeah.
Just want to thank you guys.
Yeah. Thank you
Welcome.
too for doing
Thank
this,
you.
for putting it together. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
glad to be partnered with you all and at this table. It's been wonderful.